All right. Welcome to the first installment of The Lazy Tactician. Today, our topic is the psychology of Warframe. Now, I'm going to share this. Perfect. Now, um, let's begin, shall we? Of course, our first slide goes over our questions we're going to answer today are going to be the psychology of warframes, why we choose our frame, why do colors matter, what keeps us coming back to the game, and the operator's complicated bond with Ballas, who is the main antagonist, as we learn. Why do we choose certain frames? Now, this is really important because this dives deeper into who we are as people. Predominantly, we're going to choose certain frames that are reflections of our identity or projections of a certain archetype or what we want to be or what we desire or admire or secretly identify with. For example, I tend to gravitate towards frames such as Gyre or Dagath or Kome. These are all very interesting frames. Now, for example, that's just one type. The next type is role or mastery identity, and this ties in deeper with your overall game logic. For example, if you want to dive deeper into the support archetype, you can dive into frames like Trinity or Oberon or even Jade. And if you want to do like a tank frame like Rhino, Inaros, Revenant, all of those are really good tank frames. Those represent what you see yourself as within your social circle. And when you play with people in like an MMORPG, you always choose the tank. In a MMORPG, you always choose the healer. So you're gravitating towards healers in every single game that you play, right? You can also resonate with the backstory of a specific frame. Whis doesn't have a backstory to say. She's a little bit mysterious, so you might resonate with her mysteriousness. You might resonate with Sevagoth's grief. You might resonate with Umbra's trauma, right? Okay, and or you might resonate with Varuna's uh or Grendel's veracity. You might resonate with Runa's loyalty to her pack or something, or Valkyr's rage, right? And these are all things that you identify with, that you resonate deeply and personally with, or you just like how they look. And for most players, that's going to be what define what why you would choose a certain frame. They look cool. They look interesting. I want to play them because they look unique, right? So this is one that most people will gravitate towards, is this aesthetic and cool factor. Certain colors. Why do we choose certain colors? What is the end goal? So the end goal of Warframe is, in a sense, it is fashion framing, and fashion goes a long way. Most people will tend to use colors, right? Some people have colors that are legacy colors that some people don't have. So it just depends on what you think looks the best, all right? Let's say you're going for more of a fantasy look. For example, I made a Wukong Prime build that looks like Darth Maul. I also made some other builds that look like Christmas trees. It's just your preference. If you have a certain color palette that speaks to you, great, go with it. You don't need to conform or fit in or to be like everybody else. You can go ahead and choose your own colors, and that can determine whatever you want. Okay? Um you can follow the color palette if you want to. You can follow the color palettes of the main enemy factions. For example, the Grineer, the Corpus, the Orcan, or even the Sentient or the Infestation. You can match your colors to kind of fit their palette if you really like that palette. Most people will go for what they deem to be the best looking is predominantly the why they choose those colors. I like green, so everything has to have some sort of green in it, or blue, or black. It's just a matter of what looks the cleanest, what looks the best. And I will say this, if you want to, you can look it up. You can look up fashion frame for whatever frame you're looking for, and that will give you a direct line of access to certain the color palettes that you should be looking at. And it's a matter of it's a matter of what appeals to you the most in the moment. Now, what keeps us coming back? Warframe is a master class in retention psychology because they keep us coming back every single time. Even old veterans can attest to this, that the Warframe keeps people coming back even if they've been away for several years. They come back anyway. Why? Because there are the variable reward loops, the drop tables, the void relics, the nightwave rewards, all of them give off this, they exploit the brain's dopamine system, keep you coming back. Very addictive. It's like a it's similar to a gacha game, but not the same as a gacha game. A gacha game is different, rather where Warframe keeps you coming back because the drops change every single time. In a gacha game, all the drops stay the same. It's just the amount that you put in, and creates it creates something. It creates an experience of dopamine for you. Now, the sunk cost escalator. This has to do with builds. And I will say one thing about builds. Build however you want to. Um, as a relatively new player, I don't use too many mods when I build up my weapons or my um I don't use too many mods. I don't use too much forma. I kind of try to keep those things to a minimum because I'm not at the point yet where I can attempt to do Steel Path or somewhat some of these other content creators do. So I'm working my way up there. However, every single time you go up a mastery rank, every single time you invest a forma into a specific frame, it deepens the attachment of to the game that keeps you coming back. It on its own. You're putting in a lot of time, you're putting in a lot of effort, and you're creating an investment into the game that that will keep you coming back because you're loyal to your investment, because you put in a personal investment. Seasonal events, FOMO. Now, the fear of missing out, while yes, it does drive logins even on low motivation days, the thing is with the fear of missing out is there are certain skins and rewards that were available during those events that we as new players do not have access to. And it saddens me that it saddens me to a miserable point where I could have had a Mag heirloom skin and a Frost heirloom skin, but I unfortunately I was several years too late before to reach that. I only started 2025. So I'm a fairly recent player. Now, unlike other unlike other games, okay? Kind of other games, unlike other games, okay? Warframe rewards creativity. And this is seen in what we like to call Tenogen. And in Tenogen, war creators and other Warframe players have a chance for their designs to be entered in and registered as an official skin for the Warframe. And that keeps people coming back because there are so many new things and so many cool and interesting skins that are added to the point where I think Tenogen creates some of the most beautiful skins in the entire game, I would say. Well, Tenogen and deluxe skins, because deluxe and heirloom skins are in a realm of their own, because those are both of those are done by DE. And DE, while it does have a role in judging the Tenogen's items, the Tenogen items are actually really interesting to take a look at. So I highly recommend you take a look at those. And there are multiple people that do build videos like Pupsker and Xenosfire and Shiro Nature and Mr. Warframe Guy. Those guys all do videos and content related to Warframe. I highly recommend you check them out because their videos are really interesting. And of course, mastery rank. If you if you're a new player and you need the lowdown on mastery rank, I recommend you check out MH Blackie's videos or Warframe Flow's videos because their videos are really informative as to how to get mastery rank fairly quickly. It will take some time because you'll need to actually level up all the way up. So you need to level up several warframes, you'll need to level up several weapons, you'll need to level up several companions. You're not going to get to mastery rank 17 within a day unless you're grinding for like 7 or 8 hours. Okay. And then finally, community and social bonds. Get in a clan. Like every single Warframe content creator will tell you, get in a clan because it's the easiest way to get free frames. You can get Banshee, you can get Neja, you can get Wukong, and you can get Zephyr and Volt all from your clan, your clan dojo in the Tenno lab. And if you want specific weapons like uh the Torrid or the new core, you can always go to the bio lab or the energy lab or even the chem lab, and you can look at those weapons in the dojo as well, as long as your clan has them researched. I will emphasize that again. As long as your clan has them researched, you can get those frames for free. Basically. Uh, it's always good. There's a saying within the Warframe community. You always help baby Tennos understand and learn learn about progression within the missions that they're doing. So there are always people to help you. There are there are some people who will be mad that you're not using the meta. Don't worry about the meta for right now. You don't need to worry about the meta. Yes, there is a meta for Warframe. However, the meta is not the required. It's not required that you use the meta in every single aspect of the game. You don't need the meta. All you need is a decently modded weapon, a decently modded Warframe, a decently modded secondary, and a decently modded primary and a decently modded melee weapon. As long as you have those four, you if you need a companion, you can get a companion. Most people would recommend the Nautilus because it has Cordon, which groups enemies together. Uh, I recommend if you're doing Railjack missions, get the Nautilus on with you so that you don't have to use your Omni tool. You can don't have to pull out your Omni tool, and the Nautilus will instantly repair your ship for you. This one is this question is for people who want to know why is Ballas the main villain of of the main villain of the new war. And for those of you who have not done the new war, I suggest you stop the video now and do something else with your time. Because if you hear this, it will all be spoilers for you, unless you want to hear about Ballas. Okay? Now, Ballas, he is an executor. Yes, he is the father of the Warframe project. He is the architect of the transference bond. The problem is his role in the creation of the Tenno is he is seen as a father figure to the Tenno aboard the Zimmerman 10-0. The thing is he is a person who made you what you are, who you can't oh, you can't you cannot hmm. You struggle with this a lot because once you finish the new war, you learn his motivations as for why he did what he did. And while he does a lot of messed up things, all of the executors are equally, all of the executors are equally guilty in the creation of various projects that went awry or did not go as planned. And creating all of them ended up creating warframes that either attacked them and killed them or went on to pilot said warframes and then killed them. The idea of Ballas is he's like an absentee dad. Okay? He's an absentee father, basically. You're with your mom for the majority of your life, and then all of a sudden a your absentee dad comes back from the void and you're just like, who are you? Because remember, you know who this guy is. You do know him. However, at the moment, you do not want to fully admit to yourself that he is who he once said he was, right? So the thing is with Ballas being present, the the operator and player is forced to either A, hate him for the rest of it, for the rest of time, basically, which is what a majority of us do. We tend to hate him for the rest of time, and we cringe every single time we see him on the screen. Or you you figure out why he does what he does. You understand why he does what he does, and you still choose to support him anyway. That's that's somewhat of a contested opinion within the Warframe community. Everyone that played the new war seems to equivocally hate Ballas because he is a irredeemable um, piece of work. And the thing is he has done something. He has committed a vast wrong against the operator, and the operator is remembering what wrong Ballas had committed. And we know this because in the story mode, we play through a quest called the Sacrifice, where we learn of the fate of Umbra, who was a Dax soldier or Dax commander, basically. He was the commander of the Dax at the time. Very renowned Dax soldier. He was elevated in status because he was so good at his job as a Dax. And the Dax served as the bodyguards, the executive bodyguards to the executors. So you can see why Umbra, when we play the sacrifice, why Umbra has such a has such a hatred towards Ballas because Ballas is the one who overstepped his bounds as an executor and willingly told a Dax soldier to kill themselves, to kill their son, in a way, in such a way that was so gruesome, and remember it for the rest of their life. So, realistically, yes. Is Ballas a bad guy? Absolutely. He is a bad guy. Is he a redeemable bad guy? No. And here's why. He did love Margulis. He did not love the Tenno as much. Did not love the Tenno as much. He saw the Tenno as a way of controlling the Warframes. Nothing else. He was thinking strictly logically, no heart, no emotion whatsoever in his body. So it makes sense when we get to the final confrontation. It's not a physical, it's not a physical boss battle. It is a psychological boss battle between what we perceive to be the right course of action and what actually happened, which is Ballas dies, and the man in the wall claims Ballas's body, which is an interesting concept. So the man in the wall, the man in the wall, and the indifference, however you want to say it, is an entity unto time. And there are several other Warframe content creators who can explain what the murmur is, who the man in the wall is. But I will say this, as a new player, it is very interesting to see that the writing of the story has progressed in such a way that we now get to understand what is so important about Tau, the Tau system, and why the battles that took place on Tau are so important for the lore connection between the Drifter and the Operator. Because there has to be there has to be a space in time where the Operator and the Drifter, right? The Operator is younger. The Drifter is much older. Has to be a certain period between those those two events, right? The past and the present, for there to be a maturation of the operator's thinking process or how they perceive the origin system. So that's that explained. And this right here is just a recap as to why it is so complicated, our relationship between us, the operator, and Ballas, and why we can't fully um why we can't fully believe what he says, and we can't fully forgive him either. So it is a very complicated thing. And we'll end it with this. What does it mean to be made for a purpose you didn't choose? Very interesting question, and one that we'll have to ask much, much later when the rest of the story comes out. The Hex doesn't really have a good, or the old piece doesn't necessarily have a good answer to this question, now does it? All right. Thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your day.